Yes, greetings again, people. So, this is going to be another sports take. Um, we used to have a brother out here on the radio back in the day. His name was Brad Pye Jr. He was the sports director for the Los Angeles Sentinel, which was one of the black-owned newspapers that was based in LA. He was also on the black radio station KGFJ, that played all the soul music during the 60s and the 70s, and a great station. But he would have a little sports section. And whenever he would go to a new story, he would always say, switch reels, like real old school, So this is another sports story, so switch reels. Okay. Now, this is a great time of year for sports because you got March Madness, you got NBA approaching the playoffs, and games are finally starting to get a little more intense and meaningful. You got baseball just opened up with my Dodgers, and if you're a Yankee fan or a Padre fan, I mean, sorry for you, but it's Dodgers, baby. They pulled off another improbable win last night. I guess it was really probable because they got everything right now. Pitching, everyone's healthy this time of year. Ohtani hit a walk-off last night. A couple nights ago, Mookie Betts hit a walk-off. So, as an LA fan, I'm just hoping that all of my teams can stay healthy. And but what I really want to talk about is the disrespect for the UCLA women's basketball team. Okay. I listen to sports on TV, all the ESPN and the First Takes and the Get Up, and sometimes I have to break away because I have to deal with real life. I have to get my life together. I can't just be lost in sports because it's easy to do that. But everyone's talking about the Final Four coming up for the women and the men, but I want to focus on the women because, to be honest, this year I've been following the women's NCAA tournament even closer than the men. Now, I will be watching the men's Final Four because some wicked teams, but I want to talk about the disrespect for the UCLA women's basketball team now. A lot of you might say, well, but they're the number one ranked overall team. And that's my argument, precisely. But when you listen to all the sports shows, they're talking South Carolina, they're talking Connecticut. They're not even mentioning UCLA as it's like they have no shot. And they mention Lauren Betts every now and then. Congrats to her. She was I think Defensive Player of the Year. And while I'm talking, I want to give my congrats to Juju Watkins, who is like one of my favorite players of all time, male or female. She did win Player of the Year. I think it's the Naismith Award. So even though she's hurt and that was horrible, and USC would be right there in the Final Four if she wasn't hurt, but it's life, and she's gonna come back stronger when she comes back. But yeah, so no one's even mentioning UCLA like they have a chance. It's all about South Carolina and what's the other team I said? Connecticut. Okay, now I get it. Those are great teams, and either one of those teams could win. But to leave out UCLA when earlier in the year, and I know it's earlier, they dusted South Carolina by like over 20 points. I mean, it was like a massacre. And they basically have pretty much been number one ever since. They lost to one team, UCLA I'm talking about. They lost to one team all year, my USC Trojans. I didn't go there, but I root for them. I root for UCLA in men's basketball. It's complex if you grew up in LA when I did. That's a story for another time. But yeah, so they got beat by one team. They crushed South Carolina. They're rolling their way through the playoffs. You know, they had a tough matchup against the last team they played. You know, they dispatched them, so I can't even remember who that team was off the top of my head. It'll come to me. But they're deep. They're deep, man. I mean, you got Jaime Jaquez's sister, who has the same level of intensity as her brother, and he's one of the all-time greats that played at UCLA, and so she's on her way to being an all-time great women's hooper. You got Lauren Betts, who is almost unstoppable. I mean, you have to set up certain defenses to deal with her, but then the problem is you contain her. Jaquez will hit the three. The other girl, I think her name is Gardner, she can hit the three. Kiki Rice is a dominant player. My only thing with her is I feel like there's times when, you know, she puts her own dominance aside to blend in with the team, and sometimes it bugs me because I feel like, you know, especially when they look like they're in trouble, I want her to kind of step it up a little more. But she's playing the right way because, like I said, they've only been beaten twice by the same team. So just the last game was a little scary. But, you know, it's like tired of this West Coast disrespect, man. It's always been like that all my life, growing up in LA. And a lot of you are gonna like, oh, stop whining and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But that's cool. You're entitled to your opinions. I'm entitled to mine. And I'm telling you, if you talk to other sports fans in LA, you're gonna hear the same thing. You know, East Coast is always favored over the West Coast when it comes to sports. That's why we love it when the Lakers went to a three-peat or a two-peat or, you know, Showtime era where they just dominate. That's why we're loving the Dodgers right now, you know, because, you know, as much as y'all want the Yankees to win or the Mets or whoever, sorry, you know, it's our time, you know, and I'm not making any predictions that UCLA is gonna win, but I just don't understand the disrespect. I do, because it goes back, East Coast bias when it comes to West Coast sports. It's like everybody in the East feels like the East Coast is tougher and grittier and blah, blah, blah. West Coast is nothing but flash. And yeah, well, you know, we have flash, but we also got toughness, you know. Ask the Yankees, you know. So I'm looking forward to watching it. And, you know, I'm not making any predictions because it's 4 great teams. And any one of those 4 teams can win, including the UCLA women. You know, my team was the USC Trojans, but the 2 times we beat UCLA, hey, one time we kind of kicked their butt, but the other times, it was tooth and nail. So these women can play, trust me. And they're gonna be even more of an issue next year when Lauren Betts' sister comes. She's like, Lauren Betts is 6'7". I think her sister's like 6'4", and she's the Colorado Player of the Year, broke all their high school records. And Lauren is gonna stay one more year so she could play with her sister. Oh Lord, and I don't think SC's gonna have Juju back till the year after next. So y'all better hope UCLA women don't win this year, because if they do, we might be looking at back-to-back, all right? So that's my sports take for today. And once again, love and blessings to everyone. Stay strong in these confusing times. There goes the ghetto burn. Anyway, yes, blessed love.